What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with UFC working to book massive fight. On the heels of former middleweight title challenger Paulo Costa signing a new contract with the UFC, reports have now emerged that indicate the UFC is working to book a massive bout between Costa and undefeated contender Khamzat Chimaev. The news comes on the heels of questions arising regarding the amount Costa was being paid for this fight. Although it was reported that Costa would make $1 million per fight, some questioned if the amount was actually 1 million Brazilian real, which would convert to just under 200,000 US dollars. According to a report from AG Fight, Costa's contract is confirmed to be worth 1 million US dollars per fight. However, that could be split up between show money and win money. In addition, the report names Khamzat Chimaev as Costa's next opponent, with the UFC allegedly working behind the scenes to finalize things. The fight will be Chimaev's highly anticipated return to middleweight after a short notice win over Kevin Holland at UFC 279. As he revealed recently, his plan is to pick up a big victory at middleweight this summer as the headliner for a UFC Fight Night Sweden card, before then dropping back down to welterweight to contest for the 170-pound strap. Of course, with Colby Covington next up at welterweight and Chimaev's infamous UFC 279 fight week weight cut debacle, the UFC may be hesitant to book him for another welterweight fight. For Costa, this fight will be his first back in the octagon since his thrilling decision victory over Luke Rockhold. Although there was hope that he would face Robert Whittaker in Perth at UFC 284, that fight fell apart as a result of Costa's contract dispute with the UFC. At the time, Costa admitted that he knew he'd have to ultimately fight out his contract, but his goal was to test free agency. Thanks to this new contract, however, Costa is now reportedly the highest paid Brazilian fighter in the UFC. The news marks quite the turnaround from Costa's previous contract, which allegedly saw him make $70,000 to show and $70,000 to win. Costa's manager previously spoke about the new contract, saying, "Paulo went from being one of the most devalued athletes to one of the most valued athletes in the UFC. I have no doubt that Paulo is the highest paid Brazilian athlete in the organization today. I don't know if you know any Brazilian athlete that is paid more than $1 million per fight. I don't, especially in non-title fights." If the promotion winds up booking a fight between Costa and Chimaev, how do you see things playing out? Drop your predictions in the comment section below. Dana White reacts to Leon Edwards claiming he'll turn down Covington fight. Ever since Colby Covington was named the welterweight division's #1 contender, Leon Edwards has continued to shut down talk of a potential fight between the two. While Covington was quick to say that turning down a fight and going against the UFC was not a smart career move for the champion, many continue to wonder what could happen if Edwards continues to refuse a fight with Covington. The way Dana White sees things, Covington deserves a shot at the title no matter how you spin it. He spoke at the UFC Fight Night San Antonio post-fight press conference about the situation.
When you become the champ, everybody's coming after you. All the straight killers are coming at you for the next, 3 times a fucking year. You're faced with nothing but the baddest dudes in the world in your division. So, if you look at Usman and what he did, Usman ran through that division twice. Usman's one of the greatest of all time. And he, Leon just beat him twice. You're the man, Leon. You're the guy. Everybody's coming after you, and it's going to be Colby next.
White also questioned why anyone would have a problem with Covington getting a title shot, challenging someone in the room to make a case against the former 2-time title challenger. While nobody in the room was willing to go back and forth with the UFC president, the fight community was quick to point out online that Covington's last 2 wins were against fighters with a combined 7-fight losing streak. As White was quick to point out, however, Covington has been largely unable to fight given the fact that he was allegedly jumped by former friend and training partner Jorge Masvidal outside of a Miami steakhouse. The way White sees things, if it weren't for Usman, it would be Covington sitting atop the division, and therefore he deserves the next crack at the title. Assuming he gets his way, how do you see a potential Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington fight playing out? Drop your predictions in the comments section below. Jon Jones tweets and deletes series of bizarre messages. Fight fans may remember a time where UFC light heavyweight champion Jon Jones would notoriously tweet and then delete moments later. He did it in 2014 when he was watching fellow light heavyweights compete from atop the division, and he continued to do so through 2021 when he ripped former coach Mike Winkeljohn while he sat on the sidelines. This weekend, Jones left the fight community questioning whether he had gone back on his vow to abstain from alcohol when he posted a series of bizarre tweets that were subsequently deleted. Many were quick to question whether Jones has been partying recently, or if something else could be the reason for the series of bizarre messages. As one fan was quick to question, Jones's account could have been hacked. With the tweets now deleted, Jones's Twitter appears untouched since his March 16th tweets directed at Stipe Miocic. The expectation at the present time is that Jones will defend the heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic this summer at International Fight Week. What do you make of his latest tweets? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all of the latest news. Henry Cejudo rips Chito Vera following loss to Cory Sandhagen. In the main event of UFC Fight Night San Antonio, Cory Sandhagen picked up a dominant win over Marlon Chito Vera to put himself right back in the mix for a #1 contender fight. Although Sandhagen seemed to have a commanding lead heading into the final bell, one judge actually scored the fight in Vera's favor, creating quite a bit of controversy among fight fans, given that the verdict community scorecards showed viewers overwhelmingly scored the fight in Sandhagen's favor. After the fight, the Sandman used his post-fight Octagon interview to call for a #1 contender fight with Merab Dvalishvili, who was in attendance at the event. At the same time, Henry Cejudo was taking shots at Chito Vera on Twitter, telling him to get to the back of the line at 135 pounds. Of course, leading up to the fight, Vera had taken some shots at Cejudo, referencing his upcoming return fight against Aljamain Sterling by saying that there's only 2 reasons someone comes out of retirement after going out on top. They're either broke or they miss the attention. Vera also threw in a joke about Cejudo's height, saying that Triple C is a quote-unquote little guy. Following the loss, Chito took to Twitter to reflect on his performance. With Vera's 4-fight win streak now snapped, it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. Who do you want to see he and Sandhagen square off against next? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. And now for our breaking news story of the day. We have Jorge Masvidal going off on Dana White and the UFC. He claims that Leon Edwards vs. Kamaru Usman didn't sell enough pay-per-view buys and that the UFC won't release them. Here's the full details from Masvidal.
How many pay-per-views him and Usman just did?
It's not out there. I don't know. It just happened.
Exactly. If the number was anywhere decent, believe me, they would have hinted at it already. Because it's digital. They already know all this.
That's a good point.
Bullshit. It's digital. If that number was good, they would have leaked that shit out already. Oh, Leon, blah, 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 500,000 pay-per-views. You ain't see because they ain't sold. Because nobody know both of them, bro. They're good competitors, they're good fighters, but they don't put it all on the line. So nobody be buying it, bro.
Well, what's your highest?
1.3, cuz.
Wow, which one? Nate?
Me versus Usman, the first one.
The first one, 7 days notice.
Do you agree with Jorge Masvidal? Was Kamaru Usman vs. Leon Edwards a boring fight that didn't sell pay-per-views? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Holly Holm has no retirement plans after UFC Fight Night San Antonio. At 41 years old, Holly Holm has no plans to retire just yet. Heading into her co-main event fight with Yana Santos this past weekend, there was much talk of the new 6-fight deal that Holm had signed with the UFC. After coming up short in her last 3 bouts, Holm's faith in herself has not wavered. Given that she holds wins over many of the division's top contenders, a title fight would ordinarily make sense if it weren't for the potential trilogy fight between Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. With the possibility of a #1 contender fight in her future, Holm spoke about her desire to ideally fight out the remainder of her contract, while saying point blank that she is not ready to close the book on her storied career just yet.
I guess we'll just see whatever they come up with. Yeah, I definitely feel there's not many above me. I've fought Raquel Pennington twice, so sometimes that doesn't make sense. However, if that's the fight again, then, but other than that, it's like Pena or the championship, I guess. But you never know. Things change so much, and you never know. I just want to keep getting better in the gym, and whatever they present is what's going to be.
Do you think Holly Holm can become just the 4th fighter to ever capture UFC gold after celebrating their 40th birthday? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, see if you can name the other 3 fighters who have accomplished that feat. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with MMA news every day. Here are the top comments from yesterday's video. Patty doesn't have that team of honest people to tell him the truth. That's a shame. The UFC organization is worth billions and they still can't figure out this judging fiasco. These people are playing with fighters' careers, but time and time again, the industry just lets it slide. I can't remember the amount of times Dana said, "We'll figure it out." Patty calling for a rematch against unranked fighters, this is not what UFC expected from him. I have Jared Gordon whooping Patty. I'll be rooting hard for Jared, knowing what he's doing for people outside the cage. He's a real one. And those were the top comments from yesterday's video. If you want to be featured on our next video, make sure to leave a comment and don't forget to check out yesterday's video in case you missed it. Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.